One attorney at law has argued that Jamaicans are being sold a narrative that is not legally accurate and which is preventing proper ventilation of the issues. In an article on the weekend, Mr. Holness stated that 20 of the most dangerous criminals in the country will be released back into their communities if the opposition vote against extending the state of emergency. He stated that if they were released, crime would immediately rise. However, attorney at law Kenyatta Powell disagrees.
So here's the false dichotomy of the false choice. The false choice we've been sold is that it's the state of emergency or nothing. So a lot of people have this idea in their heads that if we don't have the state of emergency, then preventive detention, preventive arrest is not a thing. That's something that both statutes and the common law already allows. You don't need a state of emergency to have cordons and curfews. All of those powers already exist in other aspects of the law.
The statements by Mr. Holness have also been criticized by opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips, who questioned why no charges have been laid against the men since the state of emergency was declared nearly a year ago. Mr. Powell has also asserted that the comments by the Prime Minister about the 20 dangerous criminals have raised questions about the process being used by the security forces. The attorney says there are also wider questions about the overall plan to fight crime.
The answer to that riddle is to charge them, right? And then if you come back to me now to say, well, we know that they're bad because we have this secret intelligence, but it can't hold up in court, that is not a reason for us to institutionalize emergency powers. If the police don't have the resources to do, a proper thorough investigation and come up with material that will hold up in court, that's an argument for fixing the police force. If people don't trust that if they go and they give evidence that they will be safe, again, that's an argument for institutional change. And if we don't do the institutional change, 10 years down the road, we're going to come back to this point again.
He adds that more information was required regarding the need to extend the states of emergency.
So maybe government should say, okay, we need 2 more extensions. But what we shouldn't do, we shouldn't allow a government to tell us, because what they've essentially said, the logical conclusion of what they've said, is that they should be able to keep the state of emergency in perpetuity. Because as long as they do not tell us, or they even refuse to hint as to how many more extensions they will need, they're asking for these powers in perpetuity, and no society should grant those kinds of powers to the state. Danger lies.
Mr. Powell was speaking on RGR's Beyond the Headlines on Monday. Cody and Barrett, Frontline News.